Well, it's harvest day today, and harvest day is actually normally on a Sunday for us. We like a routine. We've just got that day fixed in our diary and pretty much free for the rest of the week. But it's going to rain. Maybe Saturday night, Sunday, maybe through Sunday. It's a pretty rare event for us this year. We've had hardly any rain since, oh goodness knows, right about early spring sort of time. With only probably, it can't be more than 40 millimetres, I wouldn't have thought, in the intervening period. And we've had an urgent email from the water company saying that the reservoirs in Haweswater, which is the main reservoir, is at 40% capacity, and it's normally at 70% at this time of year. That's a lot of water, it's a big reservoir. So yeah, it's fantastic news, but it also means just a quick change in routine. Anyway, harvest day in autumn, it's fantastic. Let's get on with it. So when I'm harvesting, I always like to just kind of have a quick look around and assess what I've got an excess of, you know, where my gluts are, and you know, where I can take a risk and pick something hard, and where I need to just let things grow a little bit longer just to sort of maximise the harvest. Because what I don't want to do is get, you know, a huge harvest today, then have a bit of a shortage later on. So like last week, I didn't pick all this lettuce, so I left this bit here. So I'll pick that hard, pick this light, you know, just to kind of even out the demand. Same sort of thing with the turnips right now. I've just got a few turnips down here, loads of turnips coming. I don't want to pick those turnips because they're too small, even though we don't have many turnips at the moment. So just a light harvest. It's so lovely being down here. Harvesting really is the kind of pinnacle of the week for me. I'm excited to take these covers off and see if I've got any peppers. I know I've got a few, but I've been trying to ripen them up with these apples that are going rotten underneath to increase the ethylene levels, and I've no idea whether it's going to work or not. Anyway, enough chilling out, let's get harvesting. So I'm starting with the turnips, and if I've got my calculations right, I should have twice as many ready next week, and then maybe twice as many again, so 4 times as many as this the week after, and then they'll carry on until November, something like that. Looking quite nice. And although they look terrible, I'm quite pleased that these courgettes are still doing pretty well. I'm still getting quite a nice harvest off these. I should have probably picked these a little bit sooner, but that's not so bad. If I've got any more, maybe not. And I've got some of these yellow ones down here as well. A bit smaller actually, these. So that's a really nice selection of summer squash. So we don't grow radish in summer, but we grow it at this time of year. And it basically, as long as we can get it harvested in the autumn, we find the quality is just so much better. I always just interplant it into beds, and in this case it's interplanted with these red pak choi. And once I've harvested this, I'll be able to actually get in and start doing some weeding. But these are looking really nice, about the limit on size, so I'm going to pick all of them. And I try to have radishes available until about December time, when we switch to the ocker. Those are looking absolutely perfect. So most of my carrots for September and October are up here on top of my water tanks. I've basically just got one of these containers to harvest each week, and you know, they're not great, to be honest. I'm not really sure what went wrong with the carrots this year. Fortunately, we also have carrots in the back garden, and they're just a nice supplement. I mean, not all of these are even going to make it. They're pretty grotty, aren't they? But we'll see how they clean up. So I do need to up my game with growing carrots in containers, because as you can see, some of these, they're not great. We will eat them though. We don't throw away good food, but some of those look fine. So nice selection there. So these two beds are our winter salad carrots, and this is the earliest bed. This is about a few weeks later. These are some of our winter carrots. But I'm interested. I haven't done a test harvest of these, and they're only young, they're only babies. I think they're only about 60 days old, and obviously they're winter ones, so we want to harvest them in December. But I think I might just take up the nets and just see what I've got under there. Just do a little harvest. So 2 months more growing still to go on these. I don't think I'm going to be able to resist them for that long. I'm going to really enjoy those in my salads today. So I've got 4 pepper beds, and basically they've all got to be harvested by the middle of October, and it's, well, just past the middle of September now. So basically I've got 1 to harvest each week. So I'm going to harvest every pepper that shows any sign of ripening, and I'm going to harvest the same again of green peppers. So that's the first bed, and a few more green peppers than planned there because some of them had just broken off. These are the pop tea, and there's loads and loads of these ripening. So that's a really nice sign. Whereas the golden California wonder, we've had a bigger harvest off these already, but there's no sign of this second flush of fruits ripening up at the moment. So that's bed 2. That is pretty good. And bed 4, that's looking quite good, although there's a few rot in there. Get those off. Those are looking quite nice. And those are the California Wonder, and these are the Red King. Bed 3, not too bad, and that's bed 4. So overall I'm pretty pleased. There's loads more coming, so maybe not quite as many next week, and I guess it will decline over time, but still pretty good. So I think that's the biggest harvest we've ever done in a single day. But it's really gratifying actually to note that we've been harvesting peppers since July, so not quite this many a week, but still a good number every week. So this week I've been clearing my sweet corn and squash, and got a good harvest actually of sweet corn off here over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and this is just the last few now. And I don't want to leave them on any longer actually, because we're going to have a lot of rain next week and they'll probably end up rotting, so I'm going to pick all of these. Best to have a bit of a glut and have everybody sick of sweet corn for a couple of weeks than lose the crop. So those are the big ones, looking quite good, and those are the little ones. Remains to be seen whether they're going to be any use, but still a pretty good harvest. So next I'm on to the parsnips, and we've got about 2 parsnips a week between now and end of February, something like that. So just going to try and find the biggest ones. Yeah, it's not so bad. Unfortunately managed to split one with a fork when I was trying to get it out. So the race is really on now to get enough cucumbers to last us until the late crop are ready in the conservatory. And we've got, looking at it, we've got plenty for Debbie and I. We won't have very many to share. Still looking quite nice. So despite the blight, I'm still picking a few tomatoes from the polytunnel. Not very many, but enough still for salads for another week. So this old celery that we've been harvesting since May is coming to the end of its life now. Fortunately, some new little ones So I'm going to get those planted next week. The last harvest of this spinach that's going to seed. First harvest of this spinach, which is just coming ready. So when harvesting this bed, mainly trying to make, oops, dropped my phone, mainly trying to make sure that not got the spinach interfering with those salad onions too much, because they're a pretty important crop to me. Same in that bed. So now I'm onto the brassicas, and as always I'm taking sprout leaves, collet leaves, actual collets, actual sprouts, purple sprouting broccoli leaves, and back home we've got lots of cabbage and kale. So I'm also picking loads of parsley at the moment for drying. So although my Asian greens in the polytunnel are the ones I'm meant to be using right now, and I'm meant to be letting these just grow on into mature plants, I am just going to take a few of the outer leaves off here because the ones in the polytunnel are not quite ready. So I'm finally on to the lettuce pick, and about 90% of our lettuce is on the allotment now, just a little bit in the front garden. So one thing that I'm trying to show with these weekly harvest videos is that every week we have these beautiful harvests, but every week they're different. And there's nothing particularly great about a summer harvest, you know, that, as you'll see later on, the winter harvests and the spring harvests are just as good, just not quite as colourful. So let's just dive into what we've got here, and there's going to be a lot of change next week. So we've got stacks of peppers, that's full there, so that's, you know, enough 30 litres of peppers. About a third of them are fully red, about half of them are green, and the remainder are just in transition. And I've got lots of spinach, so this is true spinach, New Zealand spinach underneath. This is all true spinach here, parsley for drying. These are the very last of the tomatoes. They've almost all ripened off really nicely, thanks to rotting apples. Just a few potatoes. I'm sure I've mentioned many times now, we basically have 2 tubs of potatoes a week between now and May. Blackberries, beans, damsons, beautiful red cabbage, and just a few onions. And again, these are our onions that we're giving away. We've got loads of onions in the store now. They're all processed and in their trays or hanging up, plaited, and looking really nice. They really decorate the store well. I'll do a video on the store quite soon actually. A little bit of garlic again out of the store. Just a few eat now beetroot. And I've got some courgettes. Most of the winter squash we're saving for winter, but we've just got a few little ones, so we're going to eat those. These big tromboncinos, which are a good summer squash as well. Cooking apples, eating apples, turnips, parsnips, carrots, loads of carrots, looking quite nice. Leeks, the first few the first few Brussels sprouts, looking quite nice. We love them when they're blown like this, more like a flower sprout. Oh, underneath there, chilies. And sweet corn. This is the last of the sweet corn. So as I said, quite a lot of change coming on the table next week. Tatsoi and pak choi, more spinach, and then all the mixed brassica leaves. Loads of Brussels sprout leaves, curly kale, more Brussels sprout leaves, some reds and some greens, colettes, Carvalho Nero. So again, quite a nice table. So here's a quick look at the salad table. We've got cucumbers, and we are gradually running out of cucumbers now in the polytunnel, but we've got a new, how many, six new plants coming in the conservatory. So hopefully we will be able to get a continuity of supply. As I mentioned, these are almost the last. I think we'll have one more harvest of tomatoes for salads. There's not enough really for salads there, but that's what we've got. These are the salad onions that we're using at the moment. We don't have any spring onions, but they're beautiful. I love them. And those are the first test pick of the salad carrots. Although really we shouldn't be harvesting them for another at least 6 weeks, I guess. And those are the radishes. And of course the lettuce bases. And it won't be long actually before we start adding quite a lot of new leaves to these lettuce mixes. Pak choy, tatsoi, salad rocket, all sorts of lovely goodies, as well as different varieties of lettuce leaf. But anyway, there you go, that's the salad harvest. So hope you liked this quick harvest video. My name's Steve, this is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.